You know, what if the very best ideas, the ones that truly change everything, are the ones that at first sound completely and utterly insane? Today, we're digging into why real innovation often hides in plain sight, disguised as a terrible, terrible idea.
I mean, seriously, if someone pitched you this back in 2007, you'd laugh, right? You'd think it was a joke. Or maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a really bad horror movie. It's just weird, it's uncomfortable, and every logical part of your brain is screaming, no way, absolutely not. But here's the thing. For two designers in San Francisco who were totally broke, this was not a punchline. This was their actual serious plan to make rent. And yeah, it would become the founding idea for a little company we all know now as Airbnb.
So how did this seemingly impossible mission even get started? Well, it all kicked off with a classic problem. A huge design conference rolled into San Francisco, every single hotel room was booked solid, and the founders, Brian and Joe, were flat broke. Their mission wasn't to change the world, it was way simpler than that. They just needed to make rent.
And you know what? Believe it or not, it worked. At first, anyway. They threw up a super simple website, got 3 guests to crash on air mattresses on their floor, and just like that, they made $1,000. It was this little moment of progress, a tiny flicker of hope.
Yeah, that little taste of success was immediately followed by a brutal slap of reality. When they tried to get investors, the experts were all in agreement. This idea was nuts. It was dangerous, totally unregulated, and just plain weird. And the rejection wasn't just a simple, no thanks, oh no. It was total dismissal. In one legendary meeting, a top venture capitalist was so unimpressed that he literally just got up and walked out halfway through their pitch. The message from the smart money was loud and clear. This is going absolutely nowhere. I mean, just look at this roller coaster they were on. They kicked things off in 2007 with this wild idea. Then they get a quick win. 3 guests, $1,000. Awesome. But that's followed by a solid year of just getting slammed with rejections. It got so bad that by late 2008, they had to resort to designing and selling novelty cereal boxes, Obama O's and Captain McCain's, just to keep the lights on. Seriously, think about that. A future hospitality giant paying its bills by selling breakfast cereal.
And this brings us right to the heart of it all. How could an idea that seems so broken, so universally shot down by all the experts, not only survive, but actually go on to become a global behemoth? There has to be a reason, right?
Well, there is. The secret is hiding in a simple but really powerful framework that helps us see the hidden genius in ideas that, on the surface, just look wrong. So let's break it down.
Okay, so every new idea is basically judged on 2 things. First, there's what everyone else thinks, the consensus view. Does it look crazy or does it look brilliant? And second, there's the future reality. What does it actually turn out to be? Is it, in truth, a bad idea or a good one?
Now, when you map those 2 things out, you get this simple 4-quadrant grid. An idea that looks brilliant and is brilliant, that's the obvious. Great, but everybody's already chasing it. An idea that looks brilliant but is actually terrible, that's the trap. It just sucks in money and then dies. And an idea that looks crazy and is crazy, well, that's just a dud.
But the magic, the place where real disruptive innovation happens, is right here, in this bottom left box, the sweet spot. These are the ideas that look completely bonkers to everyone else, but are secretly brilliant. This is exactly where Airbnb was born. It wasn't just wrong, it was the right kind of wrong.
This quote nails the whole concept perfectly. The kind of innovation that creates entire new industries doesn't come from safe, boring ideas that everyone agrees on. Nope. It comes from having the guts to chase something that everyone else just writes off.
Okay, so this is all great, but how can you actually use this? How can you train yourself to spot these crazy good ideas in the wild? It's not about just being different for the sake of it, it's about having a system.
So here it is, a 4-step playbook. And you can see the Airbnb story in every single step. First, listen for when experts call something a toy. That's what they called Airbnb, a tiny little service for broke designers, not a real competitor to hotels. Second, find the awkward things people are already doing. People were already using stuff like Craigslist to find places to stay, which was clunky and, frankly, kind of sketchy. The need was there. Third, pitch from the future. Brian and Joe weren't selling airbeds. They were selling a future where people trusted each other and wanted authentic experiences. And finally, you got to protect that weird idea. They did this by literally surviving on cereal money, refusing to change to something more sensible when all the experts told them to.
And as you're on the hunt, you need to watch for 2 super critical signals.
First, a high dismissal rate from experts. For Airbnb, this was that VC literally walking out of the room. If the establishment thinks it's a joke, that can actually be a very good sign. And second, look for early adopter love. Yeah, the mainstream didn't get it, but those first 3 guests, they loved it. If you can find that small, passionate group of people who are obsessed with what you're doing, that is a huge signal that you might be onto something big.
Okay, so we've gone through the story, the framework, and the playbook. The only thing left to do is to turn this lens back around on ourselves.
So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. What's the crazy idea that could put your own business, or even your entire industry, out of business? What's the thing that everyone is laughing at today that looks like a toy, but could be the giant of tomorrow? Because finding the answer to that, well, that's where all the real innovation begins.